Alright guys, welcome back to DVTV right here from Dallas Vintage Toys in Dallas, Texas. We are a brick and mortar toy store right here in Dallas, Texas. Right? We're open 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday. We're buying, could have up to 80%. And we like to go through and present to you kind of our unique perspective of kind of the iconic toy lines from your childhood, our childhood. So we have a lot of unique kind of grail pieces that I don't think you'd be able to see on any other YouTube shows. So today we'll just kind of walk you through a couple of the unique He-Man items, give you our opinions, our perspectives as guys with a toy store, and show you those grail pieces. And Shaun is going to probably share with us some of his knowledge on those. So ready to go?
Let's go, man.
Are you excited?
I am.
You look excited.
I grew up with He-Man.
Yeah. So what's your take on He-Man? Was this one, you told me before, this is one of your lines that you really liked when you were a kid.
I mean, I was born in the 80s, so I had Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, a lot of the He-Man figures.
So He-Man comes out in 81, right? Like 81, 82.
Yeah,
so
they got the date stamp on both of them.
Okay.
So
you're like 1 or 2 then, right?
He-Man.
Yeah. You were a little He boy. You kind of look like He-Man. You got the blonde look going.
I need to poof it up some more. I need a haircut. So.
Yeah. So you said that you liked He-Man. What was it that you liked about He-Man?
I mean, I always like castles and everything. And He-Man,
you like castles?
Yeah, like
right
medieval history and all that stuff. So I mean, like Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain. So I mean, you had the good, the bad.
Yeah, my thing.
And
Yeah, my thing now looking back at it, what really drew me to He-Man is the beautiful box art. Some of these boxes aren't so great, so it's tougher to see. We'll put Castle Grayskull up in a minute, you can really see it. But the box art for He-Man always grabbed me.
Took pride in it back then.
It was like the most serious.
It's like artwork.
It really was like artwork. Like they were like works of art, and then the figures. So I think just a little backstory on He-Man. So kind of like last time we were talking about, it always seems to go back to Star Wars. Mattel, I believe, is offered the Star Wars license, and the licensing fee is so high that they pass. So immediately they need a backup on what to put in competition, because they're like, holy crap, if the licensing fee is so huge, this is going to be a really big deal. So we got to put something out there right now. It's like we said, 81, 82. So right now, Star Wars is already in the middle of Empire Strikes Back figures. So it's already, Star Wars is already a big deal. It's not really a will it be big. It's already been huge.
Yeah.
It's already changed action figures forever. So Mattel says we got to put something out there. I believe the first He-Man figures are Big Jim figures. The other Mattel line, they had put some putty on it and kind of made like a...
Back in 1976.
Yeah. So, and if you look, a lot of the, like you'll see Battle Cat was originally the Big Jim cat.
On the Tiger Trail.
Yeah,
exclusive.
the bird, like Zor was a Big Jim figure too, right?
That's I believe another... so, the hawk.
So, Mattel brings that out, and I think
so
originally...
So you're saying another company recycles molds? It's just not Kenner?
Kenner, yeah. Kenner's the king, but...
Hey, Bob, we're just gonna... Hey, wait, I got this great idea.
Yeah.
I made this years ago.
Hey, let's use He-Man's face and make him a robot. Stinkor is Merman, right? Just with Mechanex's chest.
Yeah, they swapped out parts and all that.
So essentially, yeah, the Mattel kind of pretty bad about it too. So originally, I think they pitched He-Man with 3 different ideas. It was either he was going to be what he became, which was kind of a medieval warrior.
Is it the astronaut?
There was either a spaceman, right, or a soldier. Yeah, or they was going to be like some kind of soldier.
Insect head on him.
So you know kind of about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was it that you remember from your research on that? Because I remember you talking about He-Man had a buzz-off head.
Yeah, those were like prototypes. I guess they were just trying to pitch the idea, and he was originally going to have brown hair.
He-Man was going to have brown hair.
Yeah, I guess they were trying to also go off of...
A lot of people, you're going to go into Conan. A lot of people will say that He-Man was kind of a rip of Conan and all this. But I think 81, that's before Conan, so... You can't really call it a ripoff of something that hadn't really existed.
Well, you can if you're behind it.
Yeah, I guess, behind a computer screen. So, right now we've got these on the table just to kind of demonstrate the box art and stuff. Obviously, we've got He-Man over here. We've got Skeletor and Panther over there. Let's just take a second and we'll put Castle Grayskull up here and maybe some figures. Sound good? Just going to put the Castle Grayskull takes up a little more room than we thought. So
hey, Matt.
We'll just, Sean's over here reading comics. He's hanging out.
Good research.
Super helpful. So we're just going to put this up here for a second. This is a complete Castle Grayskull. It is available on DallasVintageToys.com. So you can really see the box art Just so beautiful. I mean, this really, you have to understand in the 80s, Star Wars, the box art is just pictures of the toys. And that's the biggest competition for He-Man, right? Would you agree? G.I. Joe's kind of in a transitional period.
Yeah, they came out at the same time as, or a year later after He-Man.
Yeah, so when this comes out, it's pretty much just He-Man and Star Wars for the most part. Mega's still kind of doing stuff, but... So, your competition is Star Wars, which is just pictures of the toys with, like, the action figures. And then you see this. So this box art really, I think, drew kids and parents to it. It's just as iconic as
now,
iconic
did it
can
bring
be.
all the parents towards it? Because I heard a lot of parents, they didn't like the skull.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never heard that
Like,
before.
we have a lot of customers come in, and then their church groups or social groups, they actually took the toys away from their kids because they didn't want them playing with the Castle Grayskull because
Grayskull.
of the...
What about
skull.
Skeletor? He's just kind of
They
a
took
skull.
him away too. I hear that
He's a
story
rabbit.
all the time
Wow, I've never
with
heard
customers, and that's why they want these toys back, because their parents took them away.
I've never heard that
It was
before.
a thing in the 80s.
Huh. I guess my parents were just too cool for school.
That's right.
Alright, well, so we'll take this off the table, put some more figures up here, and we'll get
Let's
into
get the
that.
skull out.
Yeah.
So these toys are in the package.
So these are, we actually have so many. We have 3 whole long boxes full of carded He-Man. So we can't obviously fit them all on the table and then be able to enjoy how really good looking we are. So we just put a few up here for now. We've also got some that are graded. Shaun, you want to walk people through just real quick what that
Well, a
means?
lot of people come in the store and they're like, where can we get these little cases? You actually send them into AFA and they slab it, grade it, just like coins, baseball cards, comic books, and they authenticate the weapons, they check it under black light, make sure there's no ink touch-ups, stuff like that, and it does increase the value, and I think they display very nice. I actually collect loose figures.
It sounded like you were doing a Shaun impression at the end.
Very good.
This place well nice. So, we've got graded ones, we've got carded ones. So, let's see, we could just walk through, I guess, the original ones are going to be like Tila, Evelyn over there, very similar. I see you got the original He-Man right over here.
That's
the
right.
OG, the original He-Man, the one that started it all. Do you have somebody hiding behind that He-Man that we can maybe talk about?
Yeah, this is a AFA 90 He-Man. It's pretty much mint condition, and then we have the Wonderbread He-Man right there.
Alright, so here's our first point of transition. So, you're the one that's done all the research on the Wonderbread He-Man back when you had Wonderbread He-Man fever. So, I remember you spent like 2 or 3 days, like you would go home, and you were like a cold case files guy, like going home doing research. So what did you find out about it?
Well,
What can you
basically
tell
the
us?
most informative information I've found is, of course, like we said earlier, you know, people think it's Conan, people think it's, you know, the 3 figures, the Buzz Off, Astronaut, then the regular He-Man. A lot of people think that they were like Toy Fair shots that were bagged and given away at Toy Fair to retailers or people that had stores, and that could be it.
Does
Yeah.
Wonderbread He-Man predate the original He-Man? This one came before this one existed?
I would say so, yes.
Okay.
That's kind of what I've gathered online. There's a pretty good video from Mexico in Spanish, and we had one of our customers
Yeah, I remember
translate
that,
it for us. But when you bought a figure, they had like a melon, so they would select one of 3 random figures. I believe that seems the story that most
So,
of these got out there.
real quick, what you're saying is a lot of people call this Wonderbread He-Man, but
I don't think it really had to do with
it doesn't
Wonderbread.
appear to be that Wonderbread has no record of
Yeah.
this. So it doesn't appear that Wonderbread
Neither
had
does
anything to do-
Mattel.
Yeah, Mattel doesn't really keep very good records from what we know.
Way to go, Mattel.
Yeah. So what was your, you originally said something about you'd seen this figure as a prototype with Buzz Off's helmet? Is that right?
Yeah, you could snap that on, the astronaut helmet went over him, and kind of like, I just put a bunch of gear on him.
So this He-Man is probably, just in your opinion from the research you've done, you're saying you think this He-Man is probably what the original He-Man looked like before they changed it and made him blonde. Most likely they made him blonde to distinguish him from Conan. Do you think so? So people
Well,
could say,
as I
"Oh,
go
it's
back
not
to
Conan."
the Star Wars video,
Yeah.
you know, like, Luke was supposed to have brown hair, like Final Fantasy had black hair, but all the heroes have blonde hair for some reason in the
Oh, you're
comic
saying
and toy
because
world.
you think he's blonde, he's a good guy? Because you're blonde.
That's what they kind of say.
You seem a little biased, possibly.
Oh, that's 3 toy lines that have done that transition.
That have blonde heroes?
Yeah, they had...
Luke, what is it? Luke, Final Fantasy, and He-Man?
Yeah, they show
And
darker
Ebon.
hair. Yeah. And then they make them
I'm trying
blonde
to
for
think
some
of the other
reason.
ones now, like G.I. Joe. I guess you're right. I guess that was a trend.
Dude.
I was blonde as a kid, so I'm okay. That's what I'm... Yeah, I was blonde as a kid, so I'm okay.
Hey guys, I got red hair.
Yeah, let's get
him. You dreadnought.
Hey, my face looks like a skull. Oh, you must be a bad guy.
But I got blonde hair. Come on over.
Yeah, I would definitely agree to your point of with He-Man. It was very obvious by looking at them which one was the good guy, which one was the bad guy. And I also like about He-Man the story. I think that's my favorite thing.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a good guy. Always liked the stories that went with He-Man, like the little comics that came with them. I loved it to read these. Still have mine. They're fascinating. I mean, just the whole storyline, about He-Man.
And they show more toys on the back that you don't already have.
Yeah, it'll show you. I think what it is if you read through the comic.
Oh, what else do I need?
And you read the story on the back, it'll show you the figures that are included, the characters in the story,
Mom!
the figures you can buy. Like if you read the Grizzlor one, it takes place in the Fright Zone, which we actually have one. All right, so the other thing I see that you have up here, why do you have so many Grizzlors? Are you like Grizzlors?
Well, I brought a loose one out, and you brought a graded one out, so I didn't know.
I had to upstage you. I just
That's
brought
right.
all the graded ones I thought. So why do you have? Is there a difference in these Grizzlors that you can tell me, or?
Yeah, one's a dark face and one's a red face. Dark faces, shorter run and more valuable.
So there's a lot less of the dark face Grizzlors. Gotcha. And we also have a Ninjora up here, which toward the end of the line they got a little harder to find, right?
1987.
Yeah. So toward the end of the line, those figures are a lot more valuable. They also branched out into She-Ra, obviously. What do you have over here? You keep playing with your Skeletor over here.
Yeah, the laser light Skeletor.
So speaking of the end of the
European.
line, when they got to the very end, is it Italy?
Yep.
So the very end of the line, Italy produced. We know for sure Laser Light He-Man, which had 2 faces: He-Man, the regular He-Man, and the Dolph.
And cartoon head.
The Dolph head. So they were going to have the line continue to transition He-Man to look more like Dolph.
Don't remind me now. I gotta get both variations.
Yeah. Speaking of the movie, here's the Sorod figure, but that movie not as hated as you would think.
I actually saw it on a field trip at elementary school. We walked to Lakewood Theater.
Not a super hated movie though. It's not really He-Man, but
Back
it's not a
then, it was
bad
like,
movie.
whoa.
Yeah, it's like there's He-Man. He did look like He-Man, but he would like shoot his gun and stuff. It was kind of weird. It was like, is this He-Man though? Why is he on Earth?
Well, you want him to get his sword and slash through people.
Well, yeah, I know it was a little weird, I guess.
Hey kids, go buy toys.
So at the very end of the line, we were saying Laser Light He-Man had the Dolph head and the regular He-Man head. Laser Light Skeletor was also released, as well as Titus and Megator.
Megator, yeah.
And those are released in Italy, overseas, probably the rarest He-Man stuff. We actually have the Laser Light Skeletor here.
Does it work?
It does work. We did test it. I did see it work. And so what... Did you do a lot of research on the laser lights? I remember you saying that you wanted to get them. Do you know anything special
Well,
about
they do make fakes now, so
Yeah.
that's kind of scary. So you gotta know who you're buying from. But
Which is where the AFA thing comes into play.
That's
so
correct.
you can make sure that it's verified and whoever you sell it to or talk to about it doesn't have to take your word for it. So-
I've never owned one or held one, so it's kind of cool to have one
Yeah.
here at DVT.
And then also, if you look at Laser Light Skeletor and Laser Light He-Man, they tried to do the new adventures of He-Man, where they kind of
The
went
newer
into
figures
space.
coming out later.
So Laser Light Skeletor, Laser Light He-Man kind of ended up looking like that in the new
Mhm.
figures they came out with, which wasn't very well received, right?
No, it was not.
No, it wasn't really He-Man. But I liked the Eternia, the Space Starship Eternia.
Really?
Yeah,
You like that?
I thought that was cool. I got that for Christmas one year.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, it's really big. Not as big as the real Eternia, but
Was it a good playset to play with, or?
it was interesting
I've
because
had one before, but it just seems like it might have been complicated.
it was complicated. Yeah, I think it was like late '80s, early '90s. So
Was it like a fun playset, or since you had
those
one, I
figures-
didn't have one.
Yeah, those figures weren't. I mean, the one thing that you take from He-Man is not a lot of points of articulation, like 5. But those figures were They were different. They were cool. At the time, I really liked them. Looking back, I don't look at them so fondly. But the Starship Eternia was a really cool playset. It did so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
And it made up because the one playset I always wanted as a kid was Eternia. Never got one. We had one not that long ago, so I got to kind of... It was content sealed, so we didn't get to, like, build it. So I'm still looking forward to the day when we get to build an Eternia. We currently have a graded one. We had the
that monorail is very fragile.
Yeah, so maybe one day again we'll get one. So that's the He-Man line. We'll just real quick after that they transitioned into the He-Man 200X,
200X,
where He-Man got the kind of Japanese animation treatment. Came out with a show that came out. It was actually a pretty decent show, but the figure's not quite so fondly looked at, right? Not really He-Man. Not really. Now, what people wanted, I think, was kind of a modern twist on the classic, which they eventually got.
And plus, with the 200X line, I mean, you had like 10 or 12 different He-Man figures and not a whole bunch of other guys, so there was a bunch of peg warmers.
Yeah, there's a lot of peg warmers. I think they were all peg warmers, but then we got to Masters of the Universe Classics, which
That's
is one
what
of
they're
my...
currently on right now.
One of my, if not my favorite modern toy line. This and maybe like Marvel Legends, DC.
And they just this is the last year.
This is the last
Unless
year, yeah.
they make a movie and...
Well, yeah, I was going to mention that, yeah, I think that He-Man, they do have a script. Superhero movies
Believe
left
it when
and
I
right.
see it, like, you know, the Ghostbuster.
The Ghostbusters 3?
Finally,
Yeah, I think that they'll get
took
made.
them long enough.
Ghostbusters 3 I don't think is going to have anything
It's
to do
not like
with
they're
it.
going to come out with new ideas, right? Let's just make another He-Man movie.
Well, it works. I mean, Ninja Turtles made a whole bunch of money. Transformers, oof, that made a whole bunch of money. So, why not, right? Why mess with what works? So, I think they will make those movies. But then Mattel gets the Masters of the Universe Classics, which, what do you think of these figures?
I like a few of them. Not all of them.
Whew! Can't say that you're not honest on these things. Yeah, I think the He-Man and Skeletor are two of my favorites. Just a real classic.
I mean, they do make a lot of figures.
Yeah, they do.
line.
They made all the ones that we never got to. So, I guess that's it. That's the end of the Masters of the Universe line. We'll see what's more to come when the movie comes out. Obviously, they'll have to have, if the movie does come out, they'll have to have figures to go with it. So maybe we'll see some new ones, maybe not. But I guess that's the end. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dallas Vintage Toys, or you can just search for Dallas Vintage Toys. Instagram, Dallas Vintage Toys. Twitter is @Dallas Toy Store.
Dallas Toy Store.
Right? Make sure to go to DallasVintageToys.com. You can submit a form for your old toys. We pay up to 80% of the retail value. And, Shaun, do you have any parting words for us?
Come check us out.
Come check us out. All right, guys. Thank you.